different grade levels and different subjects just so you can see. I will tell you, this is a STAR third grade math assessment question. And I think that it's important for us to talk about how our kids today are being asked to do things that I don't know that I was asked to do in 6th or 7th grade, right? Like, I think that the level of rigor that we're asking of children is continuing to increase. This particular math question isn't just can you do the mathematic computation? It's an economics question, it's a reading question, it's semantic. I mean, there's a lot of layers to this. I do not have that answer. I wish I did. And then let's not forget that all of these questions are online, and so students are being asked to drag and drop their answer, or they're asked to collect multiple things. I mean, there's just a lot of layers for children. So it's not just can you do the math. There are a lot of layers. So I thought it would be important for you to see just some of those kinds of questions, the lengths of the passages that children are being asked to read in 6th grade and 8th grade, the kinds of deep analysis questions that they're being asked to understand about complex text. I mean, these assessments truly are high level, really ask our students to be critical thinkers. And then, so knowing all of that, understanding just how well our students are performing, I think that speaks very highly to the work that is happening on all our campuses. So kudos all around to all of our students and teachers. We do have some changes coming. I know that surprises you as well. Just when we think we know what STAR is all about, I think just recently we went through a whole STAR 2.0 change, and so now we're going to be changing it again. In the 27-28 school year, we are going to switch to what they're calling SST, which is the Student Success Tool, and that is going to be a through-year testing model. So what that means is instead of a one-day, one-shot, here's the assessment, we're going to do it 3 times a year. We're going to do a beginning of the year, a middle of the year, and an end of the year assessment. The intention of this is that each of these assessment opportunities are going to be shorter in length for students, so it's going to reduce overall assessment time. It is going to allow us to have 3 different separate windows of assessment. Writing right now is included with the RLA assessment, but that'll be yet another assessment window. So there's a lot of layers to what's going to be coming. I think the biggest change for this SST, besides it being a through-year assessment, is that it will no longer include the English 2 EOC. So beginning with the 27-28 school year, those students will not have to take that assessment, and nor will it be required for students for graduation. There are still a lot of questions that we don't have answered from TEA about the details of this rollout or how this is going to look for us. I am hopeful that some of the decision points that are coming will allow us to leverage some of the assessments we already use for the beginning of the year and the middle of the year assessment tools, but that hasn't been finalized by the state. So we'll hopefully know more according to Region Service Center by December. Correct. Correct. That is my hope. I mean, I wouldn't want to add yet another test for our students and our teachers. I would like for us to be able to leverage the tools that we already use, because the whole idea of the through-year testing is to be able to get the information quickly and then be able to respond to it in the classroom. And so we already are doing that with our MAP assessments, and so to be able to add that with what we are required to do would be a great layer. But more information to come before we can fully make those decisions. Part of the transparency that the state is really working hard to provide to our families includes more information for our families about STAR testing. So if you visit our website, you will see not only instructions on how to access scores, but also a lot of resources that the state has put out for families to understand just not only the types of questions that students have on the assessments, but also the written responses and what those rubrics might look like. It even provides opportunities for families to have resources for at-home learning to support student success on these assessments. So a lot of really good stuff that's available for families, not only on our website, but also linked to the TEA website. So what does this all mean for the work that we have ahead for us? You know, we know that we are doing great things in our classroom, but we also know that to continue to improve, it means that we've got to really continue to focus on good Tier 1 instruction. And so our team is committed to, honing in on very specific 2 to 3 improvement strategies just to make sure that we have great clarity. As we've talked about before, we are implementing Bluebonnet Math to support math success. We know that as we have learned more and more about the instructional materials for Bluebonnet, that the alignment between those materials and the assessments that we're seeing is really very clear. So we are excited about what that's going to do for our math work. We're also going to continue the work of the observation feedback cycles, is really continuing coach that work in the classrooms that we have been doing, and then continue to leverage those PLC opportunities for teachers to just talk about good instruction in the classrooms and help each other with that delivery. So things that are on the horizon for us, as I mentioned, all of these assessment scores are preliminary, so we are looking forward to continuing to get updates from TEA this summer with those ongoing corrections. One thing I do want to mention is that we do have rescoring opportunity for any student scores that we feel deserve a second look. So we have submitted those rescores, and we should have, I think we have about 30 or so that we've looked at that we think are close and could deserve a second look. So those rescores are part of that ongoing correction process that we have going on, and we should start receiving those scores, those final data files from TEA for our EOCs and our STAR scores to the end of July. And then we will see welcome back to school. Here are your accountability scores as well. So August 12th and 14th is when we should receive our preliminary accountability. So woo, very excited about that. And that is all I have. Are there any questions that I can answer for you?
I've got questions, man. I'm sorry. I love that we're doing the Bluebonnet rollout. Can you remind me what is our plan for English? Like, what is the a rollout for that? And when that would take place?
So right now we are working on our second year of our structured literacy shift in grades K through 3, which is focusing in on our HQIM, which is HMH. HMH is also our adopted material for all other grades for RLA. This year is our last year of our adoption for RLA, and we will be examining what options we have for RLA through the state. We have to adopt something new. We're going to be out of adoption. So we will do the same process with RLA this year that we did last year with math. There's a whole process that we follow to ensure that we're looking at everything that the state provides as approved. We have committees, we have rubrics, that it's a lot of showcasing and looking to ensure that we're, measuring 10 times and cutting once for that.
So we potentially roll it out, whatever you guys select, 27, 28 school year?
Yes.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And then another one, again, I don't know why, but I fixate because one of my first board meetings, I told you this 100 times, board members saying we should never be, even at the state level, that was just unfathomable will we ever be below the state in any category. And I know that times have changed, but I also know that I believe every student in Texas takes the same test, right? So I know how much, nobody's going to disagree with how much this test sucks and the questions you guys sampled. I mean, I'd fail that test. But I noticed on the first slide, it says where we compared to the state, and then every slide after that is kind of, it says how we compared to ourselves the last couple of years. Is that by design? Are we below the state? No, but like on the chart, like on the first one, it says it has all students, and then you go to the next ones, it has on the junior high and elementary, you didn't compare it to the state.
Some of this, and I will go back and say, but some of this had to do with what we were able to see from the portal and what data access we had at this time. So like I said, it is preliminary. There are some data points that I just don't have to be able to confidently report to you at this time.
Gotcha. Okay. Again, I don't want to minimize any of the gains, but being on those 2 out of 5 categories where we're substantially below the state, and it's both in English, right? So I'm glad we have a plan in place.
Yes.
I'm just curious how it rolls out with elementary and the junior high specifically, because I'm looking at the junior high, it looks like we might be below the state at some levels as well, right?
We do have some opportunities for sure, and I think that we are doing the right work with the adoption of Bluebonnet. We know that is going to move the needle for us. And you're right, we've got some work that we've got to do. I know that Kate and Tremaine both have plans for their work to improve English 1 and English 2 for next year. Certainly continue to find ways to even to do that even more.
I appreciate that, and I know not the grandstand. We've done amazing work on the facility side, and I know that's an important aspect. But to me, this is such a greater importance. And I appreciate, I know it sounds like we're nitpicking when I ask questions. It's not that. I just want to I know y'all putting so much energy and effort. My wife worked at the district. I know that the amount of time that goes into this. I just I like that we're having some new things coming in that hopefully will make a difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And part of the, part of the thinking too is you don't ever want to adopt two new HQIM at the same time. And right. So part of, yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you.
All right, item C, special programs update.
Okay, you can see. All right. So good evening, President Martin, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Jackson. Thank you for allowing me a little bit of time to update you on all of the awesome things that we are doing in special programs. And I'm going to try very hard not to speak directly to Ms. Hall because I know that she speaks my language, and I'm going to try to equally make eye contact with each one of you. So I have a lot to brag about, and I promise I'm going to do that in short order, but I definitely want to brag about some things going on in our department. So we're going to do some celebrations. Of course, we're going to talk about some challenges because we always have challenges in public school. It's just the nature of the beast. And then talk about what we're planning for 25-26. So celebrations, we have a lot to celebrate. This year in 25-26 was the year of refining practices in special programs. So I don't know if you realize, but I am surrounded down there in my little building on San Jacinto. If you ever want to stop by, please do. We're a good time. I am surrounded. I have 50 people, give or take, that are in my building with ladies and gentlemen with advanced degrees. They are brilliant. Every one of them is smarter than I am. And the best thing that you can do, in my opinion, is hire well. And I try very hard to do that. So I decided we're going to tap into that genius this year, and we're going to decide how to refine our practices. What can we be doing better? And so this year, some of the things that we did, which I'm going to talk about, came directly from the brain trust that is the Special Programs Center staff. So I just want to make sure that they have full credit for everything that we do, as they always do. They come to me and I say, brilliant, let's do it. So we developed some teams this year that have really helped in refining our practices. And the first one I want to talk about is our referral team. So we have leads in each one of our disciplines. So we have a lead school psychologist, and we have a lead diagnostician, a lead speech path, and lead OT and PT. So we at lead art facilitator, we have this brain trust, and they have become our referral team. So if you don't know, when a student is referred to special education, that can be from their pediatrician, that can be from their daycare, that can be from their parent, a teacher, an administrator, the custodian. Anybody can refer someone for special education. And when they do that, we now have our lead team reviewing those referrals every week. And so you have the most knowledge, the strength of our department reviewing those referral packets every week to make sure that we are only evaluating students who truly need special education. So that's one, and that has really helped refine our practices, and I'll get to that more in a second. The second thing that we did this year that has really helped our team is our initial evaluation team. So that means that we have 3 school psychologists, 2 diagnosticians, a speech path, actually more than one, we rotate because we have so many speech evals, an OT, and occupational therapist. I'm sorry, I know I use a lot of acronyms in my world, and a physical therapist that do the evaluations for every single student in Porte ISD that's getting their first time evaluation. That has made a tremendous difference in consistency in implementation of our evaluations, our assessments, and also we are seeing quality peer-reviewed evaluations that stand up to any scrutiny. They are fantastic evaluations. So that's my first couple of celebrations is those teams. And I'm just going to skip over to stability because I think that this feeds into that. When we get to numbers, and of course I'm going to show you numbers, but our numbers have stayed, we have remained the same this year, which is the first in I don't know how long, as far back as I could go in the data, but definitely this will be the beginning of my 5th year. We will not see growth in special programs, and that is a celebration. So I'll show you that in a second, but that is attributed to our refining of practices, our having that referral team and that initial team, because they are doing outstanding work. I'm very proud of that team. So we've also added some professional learning communities into our mix. So we have what's called case consultation, and we have that every week. So everybody who's an evaluator in our building now comes when you do an evaluation, whether that's an initial evaluation or a reevaluation, you come in and you discuss the data, the eligibility, and any new behaviors or academic concerns you're seeing with a group of professionals. Everybody talks about it, and we don't change eligibility, exit, or add students without case consultation discussing it. That way, again, it's a peer-reviewed evaluation, and that has really helped in our numbers. And we are seeing a lot of celebrations, and I know you're going to know what I'm saying when I say this, but I'm going to try to explain it to everyone. So there are 2 prongs of eligibility to qualify in special education. You have to have a disability, you have to have a disabling condition, but you also have to have an academic need. And what happens sometimes is we evaluate a student in 1st grade, say, and they do have both those prongs. They have the eligibility and they have the academic need. But because we do such great work in LaPorte with specially designed instruction, by the time they get to the 6th grade, they still may have the eligibility, but they don't have the academic need. But because we were so overwhelmed with how fast the numbers were coming at us, we weren't dismissing students as much as we should have been, and now we are able to do that and celebrate with families that yes, you still have an eligibility, but you no longer need specially designed instruction. So you might be serviced in Gen Ed or you might be serviced in 504, and we're trying to celebrate that with our parents. It's been a huge win for us, so we're really excited about that. Very little when you can show them the data. So when their student is at meets or masters on a STAR test, I mean, it's just hard to argue with that. And we are seeing such growth there. So sometimes we do, but for the most part, no, because we're so data-based. So then engagement, we've worked really hard on showing staff appreciation every month. For those of you that follow me on Facebook, I know you see we have little parties every month for our staff. That is 100% attributed to Reagan Haas. That is my secretary. She really runs the department. She is the bomb. So she does a lot of things. She brings me these crazy ideas and I say, yes. And then she runs out in the community and she hustles for donations. And like, she is just, I cannot say enough good about Reagan. Many of our celebrations are because of Reagan. And then student growth, I'm going to show you that in just a second. Julie stole my thunder a little bit, but I'm going to forgive her on the STAR results. My data looks better, so we'll see. And then community partnerships, we have added more community partners this year with Bulldog Bridge. And so Bulldog Bridge is our 18 plus program, and we are teaching them job skills and helping them generate generalized job skills. So we have added El Ranchero this year, which we're super stoked about, and we have added Books by the Bay, and we have added an additional nutrition site and the ECC in addition to our other sites. So we're really excited about that. Our community partners, they mean the world to us. Okay, so just real quick, by the numbers, we are busy down there, y'all. We are busy. So we did almost 1,500 annual ARDs this year, and that takes a village. That means that's on campuses, principals sit in those meetings, and so we really appreciate that. We've done 339 brief ARDs. No, it absolutely did. That means 15 minutes instead of an hour and a half. Sometimes. We try not to. 401 IEP amendments, 202 initial evaluations, which is down for us for this year. Last year I think we did about 236, and then 335 reevaluations, and you have to do a reevaluation on a special education student every 3 years or more often if you see a need. So this is what I wanted to show you. So we climbed every single year. So when I first got here, we were at 1077, then 1133, 1184, 1354. But this year we ended at 1350. Y'all, I cannot tell you how thrilled I was about that. I know it's only 4 kids, but that just shows that we are doing the best, what's best for kids, and we are making data-based, informed decisions about the needs of students. So I'm so proud of the team that I've been charged to lead. So the programs, everybody always talks about the programs, so I thought we'd do a little update on how many students we have in each of those programs. In our early childhood special education program, which we have on 2 campuses, we have 61 students currently, and those are 3 to 5-year-olds. And then in elementary and secondary, we have, for Focus, that is our life skills program. That is our largest program by far outside of resource inclusion. We have 185 Focus students. There are 4 at the elementary, 4, but 2 on each campus. And then there are 2 at Baker, but one of those is moving up. 1 at LaPorte Junior. There will now be 2 at Lomax because that feeder pattern has just got more this year. And then 5 at the high school. We got 5. So yeah, we got a lot of Focus programs. We have great paras, great teachers. And then SAIL, that is a behavior program as well. And SAIL is a behavior program for students on the autism spectrum. And we have 68 students in that, and we have that on 2 elementary campuses, and we have it on every secondary campus. And then BSP is our behavior support program for students with emotional disabilities. And we have that on 1 elementary campus. We have 44 students, 1 elementary campus, and every secondary campus has BSP as well. And then in our 1 elementary campus that has it, it's actually 2 programs. It's not 1, and there's 20 students in that program. And
can you explain that a little bit?
Absolutely.
Explain to me about why both of those programs are on campus.
Yes, so it's 2 classrooms, it's 1 program, and the reason that we went to them being on the same campus is because one of those is a self-contained behavior, and what we're doing is we're always making progress. And what would happen is if I had the self-contained behavior program on 1 campus and I had the inclusion, which is where they learn to practice their skills and they push out into general ed, on another campus, we would have to move those students. So you've done all this great work as a student, and you have mastered your goals, and you are making progress, and you are behaving appropriately. You are socially finally finding your niche, but we have to move you to this other school so that you can do the inclusion behavior program. And it was so hard on families. It was so hard on kids, and we would see regression. So that's why we made the decision to put them. Now, I will tell you, we have 2 teachers, and we have 4 paras supporting those students. And like I said, but there are 20 students. 10 of those are self-contained. That means they stay in the same room most of the day, and then 10 of them are out. Now, that's going to change, and it changes every 9 weeks when we review behavior data. And we do that every 9 weeks. Did you think I explained that? Good. Okay. SAIL is very similar. We have 2 on each elementary camp. On the 2 campuses we have, I have it self-contained, and I have an inclusion model for both, for the very same reason. We just have so many more SAIL students, so that's why. Then we have our young adult program. That's our Bulldog Bridge. This year we ended with 11. I do believe we'll start with 13. We're having great progress out there. Angela Mascaro has taken that program and run, and she is doing an amazing job. And then we also partner with Harris County Department of Ed, and we have 13 students at ABS East, and so that is where we work. They work with our students who have significant behavior challenges that we're unable to meet their needs in LaPorte ISD. However, we visit those students every other week, and as they make progress, and if they are safe and fit to return, then we bring them back.
Yes. Let's talk about programs. I had the chance to sit in on a presentation by, I guess it was Pflugerville and Round Rock ISD about special education programs. And I heard the term for the first time I've ever heard it. It was twice exceptional.
Yes.
I'm curious, I haven't heard anything about that in our district. Do we have twice exceptional kids? And I guess what percentage?
So our SAIL program is filled with twice exceptional students. And so twice exceptional, usually, not always, are students who have autism and they are also gifted and talented. And yes, we do have them. And but they're not all in SAIL. Some of our twice exceptional students are in inclusion classes, and sometimes they just need the social skills support. They will say things as I am known to do, that are off color sometimes. And we work with that, but truly, we support them in elementary through sale.
Do they have the opportunity, obviously like classes would be like AP classes, but what about,
Absolutely,
fine
yes.
arts, things like that,
Yes.
still can participate? That's awesome.
So I will tell you, when we go to the slides and you see where we have masters in areas, those are our twice exceptional kiddos. Yeah, we've got a lot of them. Heck yeah, there are. And a lot of them, when we exit them, they go to 504, and then they're not technically twice exceptional anymore, but they just don't need the services that we provide once they get that social thing under control.
The parents want special education designation off
Before college.
as they get ready.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, so quickly, I know Julie stole my thunder, but I just wanted to share a couple of things. Elementary performance, and now this is all scores, all kids that raw data that we were able to grab because it's still very early, and snapshot is still, hasn't been taken out and all the things. So I just want to brag that 4th grade RLA for special ed kids, approaches went up 9 points. That's a really big deal. And I know we're not always striving for approaches, but approaches in my world is great. So we'll take a win. 5th grade RLA masters, we went up 7 points. That's those twice exceptional kids, I can guarantee you. And then 5th grade RLA meets, we went up 5 points. So we're very excited about the gains we made in elementary, but we're also very clear-eyed about the challenges that we face. So we did have some declines, and we do have some places that we can work. And when I talk about what we're implementing in 26, 27, we'll talk more about that. But we have some professional learning that we're going to provide to our teachers to help them meet the needs of these students. Junior high, we had some gains. We had RLA approaches. We added 10 points there in 8th grade. Very excited about that. History, masters, we added 4 points. Again, there's our twice exceptionals. 6th grade RLA masters, we added 3 points. So, masters in my world is unheard of, and we are so excited, and we see it more and more and more. So that's really good. And we do have some areas in need. 6th grade math is a concern for special ed, and it's something we're working on. And I do hope Bluebonnet helps with that, and I believe that it will. High school performance, both high schools just outdid themselves. I'm so thrilled about all the gains that we saw, but just when you look at EOC history meets, we went up 32 points year over year. I'm pretty excited about that. English 2 meets up 32 points. Biology masters up to 18 points. And so, I can't think of anything that we're just doing the most. I'm so proud of us. I just love it. But we definitely, our biology approaches dipped, but I kind of think that might be because we went up so high in the other places, but I'll dig into that later. Just a humble brag. Okay, but we do have a big change. We got a big change. I'm trying to get through this, y'all. I know this has been a long night. I'm so sorry, but I never get to talk to you. What is changing? Our funding model, the legislature is finally doing us right. And I have to say, I rarely say the legislature is doing anything right, but y'all, for special ed, I got to give them credit where credit is due. I really do. So I don't know if you remember, I said this last year, but we now get $1,000 for every initial evaluation we do, and every little bit helps. So we did 202 this year. It's $202,000 that comes back into the district. That's amazing, and I have to give them credit for that. So that's been really good. The other thing is they finally listened to special educators when we said you cannot tie funding to service location. So in the old funding model, if you were in a self-contained life skills or behavior class, we got the most money for you. And if you were a student in inclusion, regardless of the amount of services you got, but based on where your tail sat during the day, we didn't get as much money for you. So now they're doing it based on services and based on needs. And we're very excited about that because that means that a student who is an inclusion student, LD student, dyslexia, if they get modified curriculum, we now get that pushes them up on a tier because only a special education teacher can help design modified curriculum. It can't be delivered through a paraprofessional. So there are lots of ways that the state is trying to help us, things that we were doing anyway, we just weren't getting the funding for. So we're excited about that. Another example is behavior students who could get 300 minutes of behavior support a week in gen ed. We were not getting any extra funding for them. We will, or twice exceptional. We will be getting funding for them now. Now, That is a heavy lift for my team this year. This year, we will be on 2 funding models, and our ARD paperwork is going to be a hoot. So that means we have to do schedule of services and calculations 2 times for every single kid. Worth it as far as I'm concerned, so we can finally get the money that we need to support our kiddos. But that is the lift that we will be doing this year. We've already got a training plan going, and we will start that work in July, next week. So looking ahead, our focus is differentiated instruction for all students. We're going to start rolling out training of differentiated instruction. Professional learning for modified curriculum. Modified curriculum has been almost like a taboo subject in the world of education. If you ask an educator, a lot of times they don't know what it is, or that one thinks it's this and one thinks it's that. So we're going to bring in some experts to really explain modified curriculum to our teachers and how to implement that. Professional learning of life skills, classroom best practices. That is a huge focus for us coming into this year with principals and with teachers. We're going to be calibrating. We're going to be doing some learning walks. Dr. Jackson and I already do those learning walks once a month. He goes to every life skills class with me. However, now we're going to be doing it with principals and saying, this is what you should be seeing. This is what you should not be seeing. So that is a focus for us this year. And then parent engagement. Parent meetings quarterly to talk about all sorts of things, eligibilities, adult life, what do you need to be doing at home to support your student the best way possible. So yes ma'am, yes ma'am. I think that is our September topic, ma'am.
20 years, but
I know.
our parents need to know when the child is small to get on the waiting list that you're going to need when they
Yes.
are an adult, because that's how long it takes.
That and guardianship are my 2 those are my soapboxes. Okay, so that is what I have for you this evening. Do you have any questions for me?
Great job.
Yes, thank you. Oh, thank you. I wish I could start over with.
I'm excited.
I have a question. This is more for Ms. McDowell and Dr. Jackson. In the interest of time, not tonight, but like at some point in the near future, can we get? I said the presentation I said was very interesting on the government funding and different grants that those school districts get. I'm curious to see, like, not just with our special education, but I'd like an update on what, in addition to the regular funding we get from the state on a year-to-year basis, any of the programs that we're getting additional funding, whether it be special education or anybody else. I'm just curious to see some of that. The other one that got brought to my attention today, we talk a lot about 313 agreements. And we all know that's been sunset, but the new one out is JETI, or however you want to pronounce that, right? So I'm curious to see, like, if that has beared any fruit at all yet in our district, or that's something, because we had one today that's very interested in doing it. So I'm just curious, like, if there's other government programs that we're taking advantage of, and maybe we've heard some that we can bring to your awareness. Because again, it goes back to what I said with the TERS. I think there's other funding things out there. And you guys, we don't expect you guys to know every single thing, but I think there's some things that hopefully we can take advantage of.
We sat through one on a different, I mean, I talked to her about some things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Billy.
All right, guys. Item 9, public hearing to discuss budget and tax rate for fiscal year 2026, 2027. Presentation of budget and tax rate for fiscal year 26, 27.
All right. Good evening, board members, President Martin, Dr. Jackson. At this time, I would like to open the public hearing on the proposed fiscal year 2027 budget and tax rate for the Porte ISD. The purpose of tonight's hearing is to provide transparency regarding the district's proposed budget and tax rate, and to allow members of the public an opportunity to speak and ask questions or provide comments before the board takes action later tonight. As required by state law, we have provided the budget and the tax rate. It's been made available for public viewing, and the proposed tax rate is designed to support the district's operational and debt service obligations while ensuring the district remains financially stable and continues to meet the needs of our students. So as we're going to begin the presentation, There we go, I'm sorry. So what we're going to discuss tonight is our fiscal year 2027 general budget, our fiscal year 27 debt service budget, and then also fiscal year 27 child nutrition budget, and then answer any questions that the public or the board might have. As we begin with the estimates that the general fund was built on. So our tax rate estimates, we have maintenance and operations of 0.6754, a debt service rate of 2719, which will give us a total tax rate of 0.9473. Our enrollment estimates, our projected enrollment is, we decided to, what we ended on last year, we're going to start with next year and hope that it's going to grow, but we'd rather be conservative. So we ended last year at 6,928 students. Our average daily attendance was based on this previous year, and then also pretty much the last 3 years. We do a kind of a culmination of the 3 years. So that would be about 6,340 students, and our weighted average daily attendance would be 8,918. It's weighted, that depends on the type of student. And so when you say weighted, it's yeah, they bring that into account for that. Property evaluation estimates, so our HCAD taxable value was about $15.4 million. We have a tiny little piece, a sliver of land that's in Chambers County, and so it's just at $750,000. So that gives us, again, right about $15.46 billion. Our Chapter 313 abatement that comes off the top, so that's about $600 million. So our adjusted taxable value for maintenance operation is $14.8 billion. Going on to our general fund revenue, so you have, let's see, 5 different columns here. I have listed, the first column is going to be where we ended in fiscal year 25, the actual amount. So we have our local, state, and federal revenue. So our total revenues for 25, fiscal year 25 is $118 million. Our budget for 26 was $132 million. We expect to come in right at $131 million. And our proposed budget is $123 million, almost $124 million. So you see the difference, the delta from the proposed budget to what our estimated actual is. For the local revenue, it's a decrease about $8 million, and that's because we don't have those 12 pennies in our M&O tax revenue. Our state revenue is going to increase a little bit, and that is from what our 89th legislative session provided for us in terms of funding, meaning our TRA, our teacher retention allotment, our special ed. So we are gaining some state funding. And our federal revenue, you see that's about $1.1 million less. And that is, if you recall, we received like $1.2 million in SHARS funding, and then we got the recapture payment of $1 million that we had to pay. But we received that in this past fiscal year. We will not receive that this next year. We will, if anything, hopefully not owe money with SHARS. So.
Would that be offset by a funding model
No.
for special?
Those are two separate, totally separate things. They're two, one, a TA, the funding that we're going to get is from the state. This is from, yes, ma'am. Two totally different. So we are decreasing about almost $8 million. Moving on to our proposed budget for general fund for our expenses. We have it listed out here for our functions by function. Again, it's the same columns of our, and I'm not going to go through each function here unless you have just point out the significant pieces. So in 25, our total expenditures were $123 million. The biggest part of that was our recapture payment was at $34 million. Our amended budget for this current year, fiscal year 26, we budgeted $141 million, and we estimate actually it's going to come in at 136. And our proposed budget is going to be 136, so it's pretty much the same that we had last year. The changes, as you see, the delta to estimate, the $2 million, that's going to be gain of that. That's a lot of it is the 2% raise that y'all gave to, for teachers is our biggest group that we pay. And then there's some other different things that increased. And the big loss, of course, is the recapture, because we, again, if we don't have those 12 pennies, then we won't be paying, our recapture payment is not as much, because our tax revenue is not as much. Any other questions on this? Okay. So here, in summary, for general fund, in fiscal year 25, we had a deficit impact to our fund balance of $4.6 million. So that ended us with starting fund balance for this current year of $56.7 million. Our budget says 8.7, but we really think we're going to end up about $5 million deficit for our estimated actual for this year. So that would bring us to a $51.5 million fund balance. If we start that with the proposed budget for the fiscal year 26 year, with our revenues decreasing greatly and our expenditures staying pretty much the same, that's a $12.2 million deficit to our general fund budget. So that would bring us to a fund balance of right around $39 million. Moving on to debt service. Again, it's the same, giving you the 25 actuals, the 26 amended budget, estimated actuals, and our proposed budget. As you can see in the fiscal year 25, and I apologize, it left off the point, it's 25.2519 was our INS tax rate. This year it was 0.2619, and we're in fiscal year 27, it's going to be 0.2719. Again, we have our valuations there. So our revenues that were brought in, I'm just going to discuss the actuals versus what were proposed for this next year. Our estimated actuals for fiscal year 26, our revenues were right at $42.6 million. Our expenditures, and again, the only expenditures that we have in debt service is paying our bonds. That's our principal and interest payments and any fees that are associated with when we sell bonds. So those payments ended up being right at $40.8 million, almost $41 million. So we are actually going to increase our fund balance for our debt service by about $2.3 million. So that would put us right at 14.8. Anytime we put additional funding into our fund balance, we use it to pay off. We refund and defease our bond payments.
When
Yes, sir.
I see delinquent tax collections on here, I didn't see it on the M&O. Do all delinquent tax service, did I miss it?
No, when it's
If it goes delinquent, we
it's
can
part,
use it for debt service.
it's in the summary of the local revenue. It is
Okay.
part of it, it's just not spaced out
Okay.
like it is. But I can get you that number.
No, that's okay. I didn't know if maybe all delinquent tax service we were required to maybe use it to
Oh, no,
the INS,
no,
so.
no, sir. So for our fiscal year 27 budget, we are going to ask that you adopt, again, a tax rate of 0.2719, but the revenues, that would generate $44 million of revenues. Total expenditures with our bond payments is right about 41. However, we will be selling our last large bond sale is happening this summer. And so those principal and interest payments, we don't know what those are going to be yet, but they will be coming out of fiscal year 27. So that expenditure is going to increase.
Is the other say like the max is 50 cents. What is our capacity? I know we gone up like 1 cent last year, another 1 cent this year, but like not that we're going to, but how high do we have the potential to go on this INS rate?
Well, the law has changed, effective for this current year. This is a new, what they decided in 89th session is changing. And so how they're going to, it's a twofer. It's a two-part adoption that the board is going to be asked to adopt. And so the first part is we have to do a calculation. Let me just start by saying this. What in the past, you do a tax, truth and taxation form, you fill it out, and you pretty much have to say, here's what my bond payments are, and this is why we're going to, if you should only adopt a tax rate to pay off what your bond payments are for that year.
If
However,
there's no
things
cause.
happen, and it's hard, because what if we have a huge, natural disaster? We still have to make these bond payments. We can't go delinquent on the bond payments, so you need to have a fund balance. So all that said, in the past, you had a little more flexibility of how much you could go up. Yes, it could go to 0.5. When we passed the 23 bond, we said it will not go over 0.2819, and we're going to stick to that. With the new laws, it makes it even more stringent. And so and I don't want to go too deep into the weeds on that, but it is something that we're going to sit down with the board and explain, because it is, and we've sat through a couple of different things. Thompson and Horton had a whole webinar about it. It was very helpful, but the board has to say, okay, we want to adopt a tax rate, an IS tax rate that's actually higher than what, just to pay our base amount. If a majority of the board adopts that, then we could go on and say, okay, this is the amount. I can't think of a reason why LaPorte would ever need to do any higher than what we are right now. Of course, I can't see when we have another bond sale, because we are going to need to have another bond sale in the future. Who knows what it's going to be at that point? But at this point, there's really no reason for us to go over to 0.2819. Does that answer your question? Okay. So we hope that with these numbers, we're estimating that we would actually be putting $3 million into the fund balance, which would give us right at $17 million. However, again, when we make that bond sale in this summer, and we know what the principal and interest are, the amount we're going to add to that fund balance is going to decrease, because our expenditures are going to go up. But we just don't know what those numbers are yet. Okay. Moving on to food service. Ralph has done a wonderful job. I'm not sure where he's at. There he is. Ralph has done a wonderful job, and it's a balanced budget. Yay. So, and it's going to, we expect to have a revenue of about $5.3 million, and our expenditures to be right around there. And so that would leave us with $820,000 in there. The state has requirements that you can't have too much in your child nutrition fund balance. And so, and Ralph and his team work really hard and diligent to make sure that they purchase things that are needed for the district and for their cafeterias and for the students, so that we keep that fund balance where we need it to be.
Does that federal money mean that we will again get the free breakfast and lunch?
We will have that for the next 2 years.
That's awesome.
We will definitely have it for the next 2 years, and then I will just kind of have a conversation with you now that just as everything is getting more difficult with what the state and what the government is going to give us, and how much harder it is to meet the requirements, all we can promise is we have it for the next 2 years. We cannot promise that we're going to have anything after that. It is, absolutely. And that is, at this point, if the board has no further questions, then I guess we can open it up for public comment, and if anyone has any public comment. Thank you so much.
Item 10, consent agenda.
Do you need to open and close?
You opened it. You opened it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, do I need to go?
I think you just, yeah, just.
Okay, at this time, I close the public hearing.
Thank you, madam.
All right, guys, with that, we'll go to item 10, consent agenda. A, determine and approve any consent agenda items. B, approve board meeting minutes. 1, regular board meeting minutes, May 12, 2026. 2, special board workshop meeting minutes, May 26, 2026. And 3, special board workshop meeting minutes, June 16, 2026. C, receive principals reports. 1, Early Childhood Center. 2, Bayshore Elementary. 3, College Park Elementary. 4, Heritage Elementary. 5, Jenny Reed Elementary. 6, LaPorte Elementary. 7, Leo A. Rizzuto Elementary. 8, Lomax Elementary. 9, James H. Baker 6th grade campus. 10, LaPorte Junior High. 11, Lomax Junior High. 12, LaPorte High School. 13, Viola DeWalt High School. D, receive financial reports for April 2026. E, receive human resources report. F, notice of employment of professional staff. G, approve agreement for communities and schools partnership. H, approve agreement for Harris County Department of Education, HCDE Academic Behavioral School, ABS East. I, approve agreement for Harris County Department of Education, HCDE High Point School East. J, approve amendment to Architect Services contract renovations to Sonia Angelo Theater. K, approve budget amendment. L, approve continuation of the 3-year plan / year 2 for workers' compensation coverage. M, approve contract with University of Houston Clear Lake. N, approve disposal of obsolete property. O, approve proposals for special education contracted services. P, approve proposals for food and catering services. Q, approve purchases and or encumbrances over $50,000. R, approve purchase of Cisco Security Enterprise Agreement.
Full.
Full R. S, approve purchase of marketing and communication services.
Full.
T, approve purchase of staff laptops. U, approve purchase of student laptops. V, approve regular board meeting schedule for the first semester of the 2026-2027 school year. W, approve 2026-2027 compensation plan. X, adopt a resolution number 2026-06 for the annual review of investment policy and strategies. Resolution number 2026-07 for the investment officer and list of authorized brokers / dealers.
X. Oh, pull, sorry.
Start. Got it. Okay. Thanks, sir. And I believe last but not least, Y, adopt a resolution number 2026-08 for annual review and approval of the district's investment training providers. Mr. Vice President, will you please read back the items for consent as read?
Yes. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, Q, T, U, V, W, Y.
Board, I seek a motion to approve the consent items.
So moved.
Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Board. All right, I believe we will turn now to item P. If I'm not mistaken.
I only pulled that for
Okay. Any discussion? Any questions, Board? If not, I seek a motion to approve item P.
So moved.
I have a motion, Trustee Perez, and a second by Trustee Shoppy. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously with one abstention, if that's the right word. Thank you, Board. All right, item R.
Yeah, just kind of real quick. I had a couple questions. Do we currently have a in-place contract for these services? Are we leaving it?
Yes, sir. This is a renewal of the one we did 3 years ago. So it's the same services we've been using for the last 3 years.
Okay.
It's kind of a comprehensive package that covers email, web edge filtering, DNS, kind of the whole thing's kept us safe for the last 3 years.
Yeah, and so I read in the report, it said this was one of the most economical it said it was the economical option. So while I really appreciate the economical option, I also wanted to make sure that it's the most comprehensive for what we have.
It is. The set of software and hardware that we have currently is mostly Cisco based.
Okay.
So this integrates everything together into kind of an ecosystem, which makes it the most economical and compatible with the hardware that we have currently.
I just wanted to make sure we really weren't missing anything. This is becoming more and more of a
It is.
a
You're
big
right, yes.
deal, and
Yeah,
I
this,
didn't want
this
us
is,
to miss out. If it's an extra $10,000 to get something that's more important, I wanted to make sure that we were doing that.
Oh,
So,
sure. Yeah. No, it's been protecting us very well for 3 years
Okay.
so far, and this is another 3-year renewal, so we feel really good about it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope.
All right. Thank you.
Board, with no other questions, I seek a motion.
So moved.
Yep. A motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Board. Excuse me. Item S.
Yeah, we'd just like to table that till the next.
Motion or is we? We will
Was it
table
the
item
agreed
S.
upon thing?
It does not have to be voted on. Do a motion.
You just table it?
Do we need a motion to table,
Make a
right?
motion to table this item until the next regular board meeting.
All right, we have a motion by Trustee Paris and a second by Trustee Crutcher to table item S until the next board meeting or next call. Okay. I believe the last item is item X.
Yeah, you can probably stay seated, but unless you want to get up. But my question was, I know that this is an annual.
Mason, I didn't vote. I'm sorry. We need to vote on the. We got to vote on the motion. So Please vote on the motion to table item F.
I saw the green on the screen.
Sorry, it's been a long day. All right, motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
My turn.
Yes, sorry.
This says annual review of the investment policy and strategy. So are we changing anything when we do this? Okay, and then that leads into my next question. Should we? I mean, are we doing a true review? Who are we using to do a real review of? Should we be looking at maybe a more aggressive, investment strategy? I know that we have certain parameters, and my part B of that is, are we setting those parameters, or does the state have a set of parameters that we have to follow regarding investment strategy?
The state has a set of parameters that a school district has to follow with their investment strategy. Also, and what we have is TASB's, here's the board, here's your board policy, the legal board policy. We can go in and change in local, and we have. We do have some parameters of what you can and can't do and what we could change. And so what we do is kind of look around at what our other districts around us are doing, what has been successful for them. And as I've discussed with y'all, we'll be going to, we actually have a meeting tomorrow morning about going to do an RFP/RFQ. I think it's an RFQ. It's an RFQ. To find an investment consultant, a strategist to help us figure out, because, and that, again, that's not something that we've put a whole lot of focus on because the interest rates in our pools have been so high that we felt, okay, we're doing really well there, and that's really liquid, and sometimes you need that liquidity to be able to run a school district, but it is something we're going to look at. So concerning for the policy, it's something that we review it every year. I go through and kind of talk with my counterparts and look at theirs because it's online. It's everyone's board policy. It's the same number, same letters.
Yeah.
You can go and kind of see what's different and what's not. But and I will say that if we once we bring a recommendation to the board for an investment strategist, there might be some changes that would be helpful, like how long we can keep. That's usually what changes. How long you can keep a investment. And make it not quite as liquid. And there's possibilities for us to do that. And if that's the case, if that's the recommendation by the strategist to possibly get some more interest earnings for us, then we will bring that to y'all. And at that time, we'll ask you to amend the board policy.
Okay, great. Yeah, that was really the major part of it. And then the second one was in our policy, investment policy. I know it states it. I haven't done a full deep dive read into that. I know that it's you and the director of finance that has the authority to make some of those changes. Is it either or is there multiple? What is the sign-off process? So say, you wanted to go and move money around through the two different pools.
Right.
Is there a Stacy just gets to do that, or what is that process? I'm not calling you out. I'm just looking forward. Yeah.
So what we do when we keep the money in the pools, number one, we want to make sure that we don't have it all in one pool. We want to diversify between the 4 pools that we have. And so we do make sure that that's happening. Haley and I get a daily report. Here is how much we have in each of the funds, what's been moving, what's changing. And so we kind of have a system in place of, we know payroll's happening on this date. Therefore, we're going to move some money over from the pools into Wells Fargo to make sure we make that payroll. And it changes from each. So we're kind of moving from different ones. Same thing if we know we have a bond payment coming up, because we do that once a month, we get our pay app. There's a couple $1 million in there that we need to make a payment for. We're going to move money between the pools over into Wells Fargo to make sure that that money is there to pay those bills.
Great, that's fine. Thanks.
Any more questions, board? If not, it's a good motion for item X.
Second.
We have a motion by trustee Hanks, a second by trustee Paris. Please vote. All right, motion carries. We'll move to item 11, action and our discussion item. A, adopt fiscal year 2026-27 annual budget for general fund, debt service, and food services. Ms. Vidal, is there any additional information or insight you need from us before we make a motion?
No, yes.
Board, are there any questions outside of the public hearing that we had? If not, can I seek a motion? All right, so we have a motion by trustee Shoppy and a second by trustee Hall for A, adopt fiscal year 2026-27 annual budget for general fund, debt service, and food service. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item B, delegate contractual authority to obligate the school district under Texas Education Code TEC 11.1511C4 to the superintendent solely for the purpose of obligating the district under TEC 48.257 and TEC Chapter 49, subchapters A and D, and the rules adopted by the Commissioner of Education as authorized under TEC 49.006. This includes approval of the agreement for the purchase of attendance credit or the agreement for the purchase of attendance credit, netting Chapter 48 funding. Yeah. I guess I seek a motion for, I'll just call it item B. A motion and a second. Please vote. Candace, it was Mr. Hanks and Mrs. Crutcher. Sorry. All right. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, guys. Last but not least, or one more thing for last, excuse me. We will go back to what item 5, election of board officers and reorganization of the board for the 2026-27 school year. Superintendent Dr. Walter Jackson will act as president pro tem for the election of board officers for the 2026-27 school year.
Thank you, Mr. President. Board members, as President Pro Tem, it is my responsibility to oversee the reorganization of the board and conduct the election of board officers. At this time, I ask the board for consent to use the roll call election method. In the method, the board will be called upon one at a time to announce the nominee of their choice. If there is more than one nominee for an office and a majority of votes are not cast for any one candidate, voting will continue until one nominee receives a majority. If there is only one nominee for a position, that person is declared elected, and I will not call for a vote. All in favor of utilizing the roll call election method, please raise your hand. All right. At this time, we will begin the position of board secretary. Board members' nominations are now in order for the office of board secretary.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Mason Paris for secretary.
Second that. I'll third that.
I as well.
I agree.
Good, you got a vote already.
Are there any further nominations for board secretary? If not, nominations are closed. Congratulations, Mr. Harris. You have been declared elected the office of board secretary. Let's give him a hand, everybody.
He just wants to sign y'all's checks, that's what he told me.
We will now continue with the position of board vice president. Board members' nominations are now in order for the office of vice president.
I nominate Melissa Crutcher.
Second.
Agreed.
This is so awkward.
It is so awkward.
Melissa Crutcher is nominated for the office of board vice president. Are there further nominations for vice president? If not, nominations are now closed. Congratulations, Melissa. Thank you. Vice president. We will now continue with the position of board president. Board members' nominations are now in order for the office of board president.
I nominate Jeff Martin.
I said, who's supposed to take?
Like who's supposed to?
Second.
I as well.
I as
Jeff
well.
Martin is nominated for the office of president. Are there further nominations for president? If not, nominations are now closed. Congratulations, Mr. Martin, board president. You have been declared elected for the office of board president. Let's give him a hand. Okay.
All right, so this is official last time. We'll go to closing comments of the Board of Trustees and Superintendent. Just a reminder, attendance at recent district and community events, B, announcement of upcoming district and community events, or C, outstanding performance by district staff and students. Mr. Shoppy, will you kick us off, please, sir?
Yes, I can. Whoever said educators got into this business to have the summer off has not been around LaPorte or any other school district. You guys are working really, really, really hard, but just make sure and through our social media and everything, you can see all the kids working, you can see all the teachers working, you can see all the meetings that y'all are having. Make sure you take some time for yourself and your family also, and rejuvenate and get ready for a new school year.
Ditto. Yeah.
As we get, as we got the preliminary results and as we're continuing to see those scores and stuff that come through and everything, I just want to say I appreciate all of your hard work going into that. We've seen tremendous progress in some areas. We know that there's always progress to be made, but it's progress over perfection, and we are so grateful for all the time and hard work put into it, and I'm so proud of our kids for all their hard work too.
Building on what Melissa said, I am particularly excited to see the increase in meets and exceeds, because that's a place that I think as a district we've kind of struggled. You know, we've always been able to get to approaches, but the big gains in meets and exceeds really speaks well to everything that everybody's doing to work towards getting our kiddos, you know, up there, and really do appreciate it. So, and it's everybody. I mean, it's I think sometimes we talk a lot about math and we talk a lot about English and science, but you know, the theater teacher is teaching writing, and the music, you know, so it's I heard one time, even the custodian, you know, it's the whole campus that does that. So it's very much appreciated.
Dr. Jackson.
Thank you to our team for all of your work this entire school year. And back up.
I'll say this, I'd like to thank our team and giving their vote of confidence in me, but I look forward more so to passing that baton next year. The president is just a person sits up here and you get to speak, and there's a lot of reading, which really fun for me. But really, the heart of this board is all of us. Like, each one of us has a unique perspective, and what I love about our board is that they are deeply invested in this community, and certainly in our kids. And so I hope this team is together a long time. Go forward. We have some big things coming up in this coming year, and again, I know that it's going to take all of us to kind of get these things pushed through. So thank you for the confidence in that. Again, we just I agree with Russell, man. It doesn't seem like you guys get much of a break. I wish it was a lot longer, but we appreciate all the work that has been done this past year and all the things you guys are planning for this year to come. So hope you're able to get a bit of